Welcome to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling. You are about to discover impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you, so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Be sure you visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com. While you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now tune in, get ready, and enjoy the journey of emerging as a leader of exception in the 21st century.
Welcome, everyone, to the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast. I'm your host, Vicki Noethling, coming to you from Roswell, Georgia. The goal of this podcast is to bring topics and guests that will empower you to become that confident leader and take your business and your life to the next level. Today, I am very excited to share with you the guest, Drewbie Wilson. And let me tell you about Drewbie. He is a loving husband and father who pushes himself to live in excellence so he can set an example for those around him. At one point in his life, he weighed over 300 pounds before getting focused on his health and losing more than 100 pounds without fad diets or weight loss drugs. An action taker with his finger on the pulse, who focuses on service to others above all else, leading him to produce more than 7 figures in revenues, no matter what industry he has worked in. I can almost talk today. Not one to turn away from a challenge. He looks to get out of his comfort zone as much as possible. Good idea. From his tech support in a software startup to vice president of a multi-million-dollar consulting company, he understands what it means to start at the bottom and work his way to the top. As a servant first, operating with uttermost integrity and humility, but not afraid to tell it like it is, confidence and empathy are his superpowers. By going all in every area of life, he strives to inspire success-driven women, men, all winners, to become the most elite version of themselves. Crushing the day before it crushes you is going to be our theme today. So please join me in welcoming Drewbie Wilson.
Thank you so much for that. It's one of those, anytime I hear the bio, the introduction, I get so excited because it's almost a little weird, when you have to talk about yourself. And at the same time, I think telling that story is really important because it's our story that helps inspire others to take that next step. And so I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here with y'all and share a little bit of my story today.
Yes, it's important because, in our stories, the others that are listening hear their story, and that's when they start to tune in. And so it's great that, we can set it up, but there's more to your story. And so we're going to get to that in a minute, but we do have a couple easy questions. And that is the first one. Share for the audience. Where do you live? Where do you call home?
So currently my family and we just moved into a fifth wheel RV trailer and we are traveling all around the country for the next couple of years. So we recently sold our home. We were in Dallas after, a few years down there chasing opportunity and decided, what, freedom to us is the ability to wake up anywhere we'd like. And so we're nomads at this point. It's kind of weird to say that we don't really have a home base other than where we decide we want to be.
I think I've interviewed now almost 10 or 12 people that are nomads, from traveling around the world to some doing as you are doing. And I think one of my next collaborative books is just going to be all filled with you nomads because I think it's really cool. As I always say, it's like that's something that I think I'd like to do. But and when I was young, my parents, not for a year or anything, but for a month, we had a travel trailer that we went across the US and back. And it was probably the most, as a 12-year-old, and, we had kids all the way down to 4 years old on that trip. Um, it was the most memorable time. You know, it was very impactful. So I know that your kids are going to get a lot out of this, and it will be
That was a huge
amazing.
reason we took this journey, to be honest with you. My wife and I, when we sat and looked at, at the time, hey, we're at this peak of our life. We're the most successful. We have all the things. We're making the money, the friendships, all that. But like, what is it that we feel is still missing? Because we didn't have that fullness yet. And as we looked back over our lives, we looked and said, you know what? Our fondest memories come from being kids and going camping and being just out and experiencing new things and seeing the world. And we
Mm,
thought, what better example can we be for our son than to go and do that with him? And now that, I mean, it's 2024, you can kind of live a life and do anything you want if you have Wi-Fi connection and, enough skill set and motivation. And so we said, well, let's go and live this life. And what's really fun for us, the more we share this story, the more others tell us, man, that sounds like a dream. I'd love to do that someday. I'd love to be able to travel around. And here's what I love is helping people understand that it's 100% possible for them if they're willing to make some changes and do the work to make that a reality. And that's really where crushing the day all comes from, is like, hey, you have the choice every day. You've been blessed to wake up. And now you get
mhm.
to decide, what are you going to do? Where are you going to invest your time? The one resource that you can't get more of, where are you going to invest it to maximize the life that you're living?
Yeah, and it really kind of ties nicely to our theme of uh, crush the day before the day crushes you, because, and pushing outside of your comfort zone. As I do, that whenever you camp, there's, even in a travel trailer, even in the most well-fitted mobile transportation vehicle, that mobile home, there are things that will go awry. And
Oh, yeah.
your mindset needs to always be positive. It really does. Because when you go across the country and see the beauty that we have, and meet such wonderful, diverse people, it
Mm.
makes every moment of it wonderful.
It sure does. And that's part of the journey for us, is our mission is helping people. We want to
Yeah.
show them what's possible. My wife and I, we have our own story of our childhood and the things that we went through that helped make us who we are. And now that
Mm.
we're on a mission to be leaders and examples for our son and the people we come across, it's amazing. The people that you get to meet, the stories that you hear, the conversations that you have. I'm very blessed that I learned early on in life that you can learn from anyone. Now,
Yeah.
you can learn good things, you can learn bad things. That's again kind of a choice and a
It's
decision that
true.
you're going to make. However, what's awesome is that you can really lean in on, everyone has something that they're an expert in, that they have wisdom and experience. And if you're willing to open up and listen to what people have to say, it's pretty awesome what you can learn. The biggest issue I run into, and I coach a lot of our clients on, is you have to stop and you have to listen.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So the next question is about your journey, and I'd like for you not just to say to talk just about the uh, the greatness of losing all that weight, but I'd love for you to share about that journey that took you to 300 pounds. Because I think it's
Yes.
important people that understand that too, that might recognize that they're on that path, and maybe you can help them to change it before it gets to that point.
I'd love to. And I feel as though I kind of have a little expertise in this, because not only have I lost 100 pounds once, I've done it twice, because I
Mhm.
lost it and then I put it all back on again. And it was very much about the decisions I was making and the self-worth that I
Mhm.
had,
Yeah.
which led me to doing things that I knew weren't serving me to live the life that I wanted to live. So, I grew up, I was always the husky kid. I was in middle school buying adult size pants and having to hem them like 6 inches because my legs were really short, but I was extra wide. And so I've always dealt with that self-confidence issue of just not feeling
Yeah.
good about myself, in the sense of, I always knew I was smart. I knew I could do things and accomplish things, but I didn't have the physical attributes that I wanted, but I wasn't willing to do the work to make it a reality
Mm.
either. I grew up riding BMX bikes and running around and doing all that, but I wasn't willing to stop eating so much. I was sacrificing the unhappy parts of my life and overeating
See.
and finding
Mhm.
the dopamine rush there. And then as I got
Yeah.
older, getting into drugs and all the other things that go along with the seeking of that happiness without willingness to do the work to make it a reality. Because it's easy to go and get a quick fix. I mean, that's
Mhm.
why the world is in such a array right now, because everybody wants instant gratification. No, I don't want to wait 3 days for delivery. I want it right now. No, I don't want to wait an hour. I want it in 5 minutes. I want to get it right now, right now, right now. And unfortunately, health, wellness, it does not happen right now. It
Yeah.
is a long term, it is a marathon game. And
Mhm.
so, what for me was along that path, I got to where I was 315 pounds. I was working third shift. I wasn't eating well. I was living on caffeine. I wasn't sleeping right. And so, yeah, I got very unhealthily large. And I
Mhm.
realized, you know what? This isn't going to help me find a wife. This isn't going to help me find happiness. Like, I need to make a decision. So I cut out all the sugary drinks and all the extra food, and I got a little more dialed in on my diet. And guess
Mhm.
what? It's kind of simple math, you guys. And then I hate to be this way, but calories in, calories out.
That's
If you want to make
exactly
it
right.
really simple, if you burn more than you take in, guess what? Over time, you're going to lose weight. It's impossible not to.
Mhm.
However, there becomes a point where your body naturally has to have certain vitamins, certain supplements, and you need some of those fats and those things. So you can go too far in one direction. And that's exactly what I did. I went from 300-ish pounds. My wife at one point came to me and was like, listen, I just had a baby, and I'm not saying that I'm in perfect shape either, but like what we're doing, this isn't working. And that was hard for me as a man to say, well, my wife isn't attracted to me. Like, she loves me, but she's not attracted to who I am because I wasn't showing up as the man I needed to be as the example. And that
Mhm.
was appearance in my physical wellness, which led to my mental wellness not being where it needed to be. So I went on that physical journey. I went on that personal development journey. I started listening to shows just like this. I'd get up at
Mhm.
the 4 and 5 in the morning, and I'd go and walk, and I would just listen to a podcast. I would focus on what are the things that I can control in my life, because there's a lot of stuff that we can't control, right? This is life, but there are things we can control, and it starts with our decisions and our actions.
Right.
And that's where crushing the day came from, because it was like, I'm going to get up and I'm going to go and work out, and I'm going to try to avoid social media, and I'm going to try to avoid the news and all the toxic stuff that exists. And I'm just going to focus on gratitude and doing the thing that I know I don't want to do, because once I've done it, I feel a lot
It's done.
better.
That's
And
right.
then it's done. Yeah, right. And then so guess what? When I started living this life and I started focusing on, hey, what is my time worth? Where am I spending it? And what's the return am I getting on that investment? Everything in my life changed.
Mhm. That's so true. So you talk about social media and you're on social media obviously
Oh
as
yeah.
our as in business we have to be out there as many places as we can to build awareness, but so what ways do you use social media so that you can be a master at this to build that awareness but not have it consume you?
Oh, that's a great question. And so everything I look at comes back to intentionality. And so, again, kind of to help people narrow in on why I think this is important, because from a social media standpoint, this is a platform with millions of people on it. If my mission is to help as many people as possible, well, I need to leverage the resources that exist to get my message out there. That's what social media is. It is a tool which we can utilize to get a result. The issue is that most of us came up on social media as an escape, as a way to be creeps, as a way to go and watch what other people have going on in their lives so that we can compare ourselves and have this self-deprecation of like, why don't I have what they have, or why don't I look like they look like? And we all know it's all filters and it's never really what's going on. It's just a highlight reel, but we
Mhm.
still are trained to look at it. We're trained to think this is real life, because that is the way that we have decided that as a
Yeah.
society, as a culture, we're going to live vicariously through the stories that other people tell, which is
Yeah,
funny because if you go all the way back to old times,
that's exactly.
social media was a book. It was a Bible. It was all of these things where people went to find the information, to seek out the stories of the people they wanted to learn from so that they could learn how to live the life they want to live. So when
Mhm.
I think about social media, I think about it as, okay, if I'm going to log in, what is the purpose? Well, I'm logging in because I'm going to create a message that I know could reach potentially 1,000 people, 1 million people. Does it have to? No, it only needs to reach one. So if I help
Mhm.
one person a day, 365 people in a year, times 10 years, I'm starting to multiply. Well, guess what? It's like pay it forward. If I help one person and they help one person, well, the numbers are
Yeah.
just math. It's all it is math. And when I think about that, where are you spending your time on social media? Are you creating a message, or are you trolling and looking at politics and sharing memes that are, divisive? I love memes. I tattooed meme lord on my knuckle. I've made over $1 million in commissions using memes. However, you have to be intentional first, and that's where we could go off on social media as a tangent, but I think it's important to know that if you're going to log in, what is the purpose? It's like anything in life. If you're going to go to the store, what is the purpose? If you're going to go
Yeah.
to the gym, what is the purpose? If you're going to make that phone call to the person you love, what is the purpose?
And I think that's really important, that the intentional, and that's why, I kind of like the whole, subscribing to the things that feed you with the nutrition, mental as well as physical, that will help you, so subscribe to those 10-minute sessions where you're just having mindfulness and resting your brain a little bit, or the yoga type of things,
Mm-hmm.
or podcasts like this that feed you with information that will allow you to learn every day something professional, personal development, rather than, just cat videos and things like that.
And there's a place for those. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for the dopamine dump and for like just the
Yes.
escape. I believe me. However, if you spend all of your time dopamine dumping, you're not using that energy, you're not using that resource that you have to go and create the life that you want to live. And like the funniest thing, and we won't get too far on a tangent, hopefully, but like with
Mhm.
AI, everybody thought AI was going to take over and do all these jobs for them. But ultimately, the AI, they're using it to create. They want to create things. People want to be creative. The
Yeah.
issue is that you're using that creativity in a place that's not getting you the life that you want. At least
Yeah.
not yet. It could be,
Not yet.
but maybe not yet.
Well, and I think, though, if we can stay there for a minute, and this could be for crushing your day, because there are some times in my long career where I had to be innovative and creative, and you see that paper, or that sheet
Mm.
of paper on the table, or a whiteboard, and you think, I have nothing. I have nothing. And even, even if you have a whole team of people and you have Post-its all over, as we've had in the past, to brainstorm sessions, and you still think, well, which is good, which is better, and you don't know. And so AI to me has been just this great spark of creativity to get my brain thinking, oh yeah, we could go there. Or what else could we do? And you ask the right questions, and I think that's
Bingo.
important in life. And it's training you now, even talking to a real life person, to ask the right questions, to be able to get the answers you need. And
Mm.
so I know a lot of people are afraid of AI and things, but we have to get our innovation and creativity back to be strong, to be growing. And I use it all the time for that.
I think though, but the thing is, you said it yourself. It's intentionality. You're using it with a purpose. You know that you're
Yeah.
going in to say, "Hey, I don't know what I don't know. That's why I'm here." But
Hmm.
I'm willing to admit that not knowing means that there's opportunity to learn. And so I'm going to go and be actively seeking knowledge by being willing to ask questions. One of my, if I think back on all of the, the cliche patterns and the cliche like phrases that we get over the years, one of the ones that was most impactful for me, I used to work with a gentleman named Gary. He was like 4 foot 6 inches tall. He talked like Yoda. He had been in the industry that I was in the pharmaceutical world for like 30 some years. Like he was a really OG in the game. And one of the best pieces of advice he ever gave me, he said, "Hey man, the wise man doesn't have the answer to every question. The wise man knows where to go looking for them." And that
Mm.
just hit home really hard because all I could think was like, well, A, we don't have the capacity to have the answer for every
I
question.
know.
Like, depending on how spiritual you are, like God's the only one that has those answers, right? So it's like, okay. And then you start thinking about it as like, well, when you were growing up, depending on how old you are right now, it's like, where do you go for information? You go to the encyclopedia, because the
Yeah.
encyclopedia was like the known place, the trusted resource for knowledge.
Mhm.
Well, now we're 2024. We go to Google and we have to be careful because we recognize that even though we were trained growing up that Google was a valid resource, over the years it has shifted, it has changed. We've had to learn how to navigate and understand, is this information I'm receiving from this resource valid or not? That level of trust changes. And it all goes back to, what questions are you asking so that you can truly understand the situation? Because
Yeah.
it always comes back to the knowledge. Where are you going to get your knowledge? And are you surrounding yourself with the people who can help you get where you want to be? Or are you surrounding yourself with people who are not providing you the information that's going to get you there?
Yeah.
It's all a decision and a choice.
So you have on your hat, you have behind you um, your company name,
Mm-hmm.
call the damn leads, which, you know, for a lot of us, if we all are honest, is one of the biggest hurdles that we have. You know, we will do anything sometimes to not make those calls. So how did you how did you start calling the damn leads? What's the story behind that?
You know, it's a funny one. I grew up in sales. I was running the streets as a kid, selling anything and everything. Thankfully, I made it through that. I'm very blessed. Didn't want to end up dead or in prison. When I got married, had a son, so I realized, hey, I got to get out of that life, get into the more legitimate side of sales. And so, call the damn leads came from, at one point, I had been selling insurance for a couple of years, and I've spent a lot of time on the phone, just calling leads, 100, 200, 300 calls a day, just having conversations. And that was my success, was a willingness to just pick up the phone and call those leads and grind it out, even though it sucked. And it was, you know, a lot of rejection and it wasn't fun. It wasn't the sexy side of business. I learned a lot. And as I progressed and got to being one of the top producers in my market as an insurance producer, I was like, well, what do I need to do to make more? Because, like, I'm kind of capped out. And most of you listening to this recognize that there's a certain area of life where you're capped out. It might not be your business, it might be personally, it might be spiritually, whatever, but there's an area where you're capped out. And I don't know if you're like me, but I don't like being held back. I like
Yeah.
to keep moving forward. So to me, it was like, well, what do I need to do to make more? So I went to the guy I worked for, the agency owner, and I said, hey, man, I want to make more. What do I need to do? And he said, you need to go sell more stuff, man, because in like 10 years, your name will be on the door and you'll be making the kind of money that I'm making and you'll be set. And I thought, well, that sounds good, but I'm not patient. I don't want to wait 10 years. Vicky, do you want to wait 10 years for something? Heck no, right?
I don't
Well,
have
like I said earlier,
I don't have that many 10 years left.
right? Yeah, you know, I'm not, and again, we don't know how much time we have left. And
Yeah.
so it was like, well, I don't want to wait. So I went back and I said, all right, so as a sales guy, what do I need to do? What's the thing that helps me make more money? I was like, well, I need to have more conversations. Well, how do I have more conversations? I need more leads. Well, how do I get more leads? Well, need to learn marketing. Because if I know marketing, I can go and create these resources that will bring people to me that I can have these conversations with. Some typical progression of the entrepreneurial spirit, right?
Right.
So I start learning marketing and I'm having some success. Wouldn't you know it? I buy a course, I learn, I implement, I doubled my production in the first month. And I got a couple calls from some other agents in the area that went, hey, man, like, you're a
What
top
you
guy and
doing?
yeah, what you doing over there? And is it legal?
Oh no.
Because, you know, of course, when you start having success, a lot of the people around you start questioning, well, he's doing something sketchy. It's not like, there's always like a doubt, right?
Right.
But I said, no, guys, this is how it works. You were all paying $20, $25 a lead. I figured out how to get them myself for $2.50. I'll show you how to do it if you're interested. And they're like, no, 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 no. I don't want to learn. I don't have time, but I'll pay you to set it up for me. I'm like, okay. I made $10,000 in a weekend. I'd never made $10,000 in a month. I realized I was like, I'm in the wrong business. I don't know what I'm doing here selling insurance, but like, this is cool. So I started a marketing company. Long story short, I got a whole bunch of clients. And as you just said, the one issue that I kept running into was, no matter how much I did my job, they weren't willing to pick up the phone and call the leads. And so I had a lot of people that would call me and go, "Oh, this doesn't work," or "These leads are no good." And
Yeah.
one individual in particular, a real estate agent, I had gotten him 100 leads for a property that he had listed up somewhere, and he said that they sucked and he wanted a refund. And I couldn't believe it. It was $1,500, and to me, that was like my mortgage payment for the month at the time. I was
Yeah.
like, I'm not refunding you my mortgage payment that I just made because you won't do the work. That doesn't make sense. So I picked up the phone and I started calling these leads. I don't know real estate. I don't have a license. I did stay at a Holiday Inn Express one time, but I don't know if that qualifies me to be a real estate agent or not. Maybe. It's kind of a weird market. Uh, but all these people are like, "Yeah, I'm interested. I've been waiting to hear from somebody. Like, can I come see it? What's the deal?" And then one guy in particular sent me a signed contract, said, "Hey, I'll take it as is. We drove by, we found it. Like, let's go." So I called the client back. I'm like, "Hey, man, I don't know what you've been doing over there. Here's all these people that are interested. Here's a signed contract on the property. You probably should call your damn leads. And also, here's a refund. Please don't ever call me again." And so I refunded him his money. I went back and I called all my marketer buddies. I was like, "I got to put this on a t-shirt because if these people would just call the damn leads, they'd all get paid and we would be rich. And then maybe people will buy a million t-shirts and I'll make a lot of money." I can't say that I've sold a million t-shirts yet. However, we're well on our way. So, I put it on a t-shirt, put it on a hat. We have wristbands, keychains,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff. And over the years, it has literally developed its own brand and movement because, as you said, it always comes back to, are you doing the work? Are you calling the damn leads? Are you going out and having the conversations? It's just a reminder that there's one thing that always gets a result, and that's doing the work.
For sure. So, how are you integrating the crush the day philosophy into your leadership and your team management style? Because I imagine you have a team. If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
traveling all around the US, you probably have other people that are doing it and helping you. So good for being a delegator. Sometimes the entrepreneurs don't know that word.
It is a blessing and a curse. And I'll remind all of you that your time is your most valuable asset. So if you want to figure out how to have more life, first thing you need to do is do an audit of your time and figuring out where you're spending it. Because once you figure that out, you're going to know whether or not you're crushing the day or the day's crushing you. Because if you're spending more time doing things that aren't getting you the result that you want, guess what? You're getting crushed. And you probably feel it. You probably know it. You're listening to me going, "Damn, this guy's talking right to me. I don't know how he knew about this, but shoot." Here's your reminder. You get to make the decision. Where are you spending your time? What are you spending it on? So when I think about leadership and my team, I just simply ask them, "Hey, what are we doing? Where's our time being spent? Is it getting the result that we want both personally and professionally?" Because here's what I know. I've met a lot of people that are really successful professionally. Their personal life sucks. I met a lot of people that have an awesome personal life, but they're really struggling professionally. Finding the balance between the two is nearly impossible. However, I look at it like this. There's 24 hours in a day, and you get to choose where you're spending those hours. How much time are you spending on your personal life? How much time are you spending on your professional life? Because if you look at your calendar, it's going to tell you exactly what the results are. And when it comes to your life, if you want to crush the day before it crushes you, you need to be spending your time on the things that are important.
Yeah,
Plain and
for
simple.
sure. So true. So what are your top strategies going back to the social media that that have worked for you to be able to get the leads? And then once you get them, do you use social media at all to help, uh, I guess, do the follow-up at all? Or is it all just in, I think you also can use that social media to, when you get the leads and you get the positive results, to be able to use those as testimonials and things to get more leads.
And I'm sure we could go all day, and for the sake of time, I won't get too into the weeds on this. I've written a book on it. It's called Social Media Mastery. I'd love for you guys to go and check it out. I've written 3 books. As a matter of fact, I have Crushing the Day, Social Media Mastery, and Call the Damn Lead. So anything that you want to learn, like I'll share more about that in a minute. But when it comes to social media, I'm going to make this really easy on you guys. There's no secret formula other than, are you posting every day? Start there. Post once a day. one time a day, you need to go on the social media platform of your choice. Doesn't have to be on all of them. Like there's 15 or something. You don't have to be on all of them. Pick one and make one post a day on that platform every single day. That's where you start. And then what's going to happen is as you consistently post, people are going to start to see it. And I'm going to tell you, it's not going to be millions right away. Maybe, but probably not. You only need a couple. People see it. They like what you have going on. They may not even engage with it. You might not even know that they're watching, but they will be. And they're watching to see that you're consistent. So when you get on there, you pick your platform and you post once a day and you tell one story a day. And all you're really going to talk about is, hey, what experience did I have today? What lesson can I take out of that experience, right? What lesson can I extract? And how can I tell a story that's going to educate or entertain the people that I want to educate or entertain? And I'm going to do that once a day.
Yeah.
So like this is an example, this podcast. I could go on later today and I could say, you know what? Had an amazing day, woke up early, got to watch the sunrise, went for a good walk, and then I had an amazing conversation with a new friend, Vicki, on her podcast where we got to talk about what it means to crush the day. And man, what a feeling that is to be able to go out and share my story. And how grateful am I and blessed to be able to do this every single day and know that I'm building a life I can be proud of. You just make that post.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all. That's all you
Awesome.
did. What did you do today? What's the story? How can you share it? Do that every single day for the next 30 days and then come back and find me. I promise you, you will find more opportunity than you know what to do with.
Fantastic. Well, we could talk probably for another 2 days on all of this, but it is time now for me to share my slide that has contact information. If what has been shared today touches you and makes you feel that you want to know more, you want to get to know Drewbie more, I'm going to share contact information. So if you're just listening, quick, go grab that paper and pencil so you can take that website down. All of it will be on my YouTube channel, so please do subscribe, as well as my findyourleadershipconfidence.com. The website is callthedamnleads.com. Again, callthedamnleads.com. And Facebook is Drewbie Rides, R-I-D-E-S. That's capital D-R-E-W-B-I-E, capital R-I-D-E-S. Drewbie Rides on Facebook. Instagram is Call the Damn Leads. LinkedIn is Drewbie Wilson, his name, all small letters. And YouTube is at Call the Damn Leads. So you know what the theme is, and you know what the action is. Call the damn leads. Please go ahead, Drewbie, and tell them what will they find when they go to your website? What resources do you have? How can they connect to get your books there? Just anything on there, and also share your most fun and active social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So first and foremost, thank you again for the opportunity to be here. If you did hear something that you liked, go to callthedamnleads.com. Not only do I have keychains, wristbands, hats, all kinds of fun little reminders you could grab for yourself, but I have over 1,000 podcast episodes with training, tactics, how to use social media, how to dial in your sales scripts, how to get your mindset, anything you might need to get yourself motivated to go out there and call those damn leads. You can find it on the website, as well as my books, free trainings, anything that could potentially help you. Go check it out. But more than anything, make sure you share this episode because you were here today and you got something of value. So make sure you go on to Vicki's channel, share this episode, tag us on social media, let someone know that you learned something here today, because this is what we do it for. If we help one person, then that's going to snowball effect in the line. So go over, share the show, then head over to callthedamnleads.com, buy a book, buy 3 books, buy whatever. But more importantly, take action on what you've learned today, because that's what's going to lead you to the life you want to live tomorrow.
Awesome. Well, Drewbie, it's been great. We definitely have to have another conversation again. Love having you. And thanks for the promotion of my my episodes. That's what we do. You as I both want to change the world in a positive way and share resources that can help you grow and become that more confident leader, no matter what you do in life. So
Absolutely.
I appreciate you being such a great guest. and want to remind everyone, as always, that life is a journey and it's up to you to enjoy the ride. This is Vicki Noethling signing off.
Thank you for tuning into the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast with Vicki Noethling, where we share impactful lessons that help you grow as an individual, grow your confidence, and find the positive and good within you so you powerfully and authentically become the best version of yourself. Remember to visit our website at www.findyourleadershipconfidence.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on the Find Your Leadership Confidence podcast.